A lot of you have asked me to talk about Spaceflight Simulator 2, and well, you have got your wish. Today, we're talking about it. Hello everybody, and welcome. Spaceflight Simulator is a game available for PC and for mobile platforms, and it basically, if it boils down to, you could call it Kerbal Space Program in 2D, because in the end, what you do there is you build a rocket and then you fly your rocket, and you can also do landers and rovers and whatever you want to do in space. But everything is just two-dimensional. There are no 3D graphics, there is no Z-axis, so to speak, that you can travel into. Everything is just flat. But that is going to change because the developer Team Curiosity is working on the sequel, Spaceflight Simulator 2. The main improvement is, of course, that it is going to be three-dimensional. And they have been working on it hard for the past years, quite a while now. And I have to admit I haven't been following it that closely as I do other games, like for instance Kitten Space Agency, which I made a couple of videos over the past year. And if all of this interests you, like space simulation games and potential successors to the throne of Kerbal Space Program, since the developer was shut down last year by Take-Two Interactive, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. More than 100,000 people already did so, and I thank you very much for doing that. As I just mentioned, Kerbal Space Program is no longer being developed, same as the sequel that was unceremoniously shut down last year. So people are kind of looking for alternatives or new ways to fill that urge of building a rocket and flying it. I mean, of course, Kerbal Space Program still exists. It's on Steam. It's a full game. You can download and play with it, or you can download it directly from the website. Actually, you no longer can do that because they have moved it just to the Steam Store, the Good Old Games Store, and Epic Games Store. So yeah, not really available for direct download anymore via KerbalSpaceProgram.com. Anyway, one of the alternatives I already talked about was Juno New Origins, which is already out, and it's also available for PC and mobile devices. And that's the same market, so to speak, that Spaceflight Simulator 2 is aiming for. And in a recent video, the developers showed off how it works on mobile. They posted it in a TikTok video in vertical format where you could see a person, probably a developer, just dragging and placing parts in a VAB and adding them to a rocket stack. And this could be something where Spaceflight Simulator 2 might have the edge over Kitten Space Agency, because so far we have seen a lot of impressive work that has been done under the hood for KSA, and everything seems to be geared up to be working on PC, but so far I haven't seen any plans for them to go on mobile devices. And sure, mobile devices don't really gel well with the complexity of spaceflight and fiddling with maneuver nodes and hitting something really precisely. That's something where you really want to have a mouse and keyboard or any other more precise control scheme than a touchscreen. But for some quick fun in between, let's build a rocket and fly it to the moon stuff, I think Spaceflight Simulator 2 could be actually a good opportunity here. And of course, Juno New Origins already did that as well. It's also available for iOS and Android, of course. Unlike Kitten Space Agency, Spaceflight Simulator 2 is not going to feature any animals or aliens as the protagonists. We're going to see astronauts, as far as we can see from the developer footage that was posted so far. Also, already in Spaceflight Simulator, the first one, the 2D version, we already had the same planets that we have in our own solar system. Earth, the Moon, Mercury, and so on, and also Jupiter, but for some reason I did not recognize Saturn or Uranus or Neptune out there. Maybe I did something wrong in the short time that I played around with it, or they really didn't include them. Also interesting is that the game does not use the real scale for the solar system, so if you are already above 30 kilometers in the first Spaceflight Simulator, the game already says you have left the atmosphere. How that is going to be in Spaceflight Simulator 2, I'm not sure, I haven't found that information yet, but maybe they will expand on that. If you remember, Kerbal Space Program and Kerbal Space Program 2 had the atmosphere end at 70 kilometers. In reality, of course, it is more of a fluid thing that air pressure, or atmospheric pressure rather, gets lower and lower the higher you go up. But even something like the International Space Station, which orbits hundreds of kilometers above the Earth, still experiences some atmospheric drag. And that is why it has to be reboosted once in a while, so its orbit does not degrade too much. Judging from the information that was posted on the Discord server for Spaceflight Simulator, or rather Spaceflight Simulator 2 as well, we can see that in regards to building rockets and the parts that are going to be used, Spaceflight Simulator 2 is a bit more ahead of Kitten Space Agency, where we haven't seen any custom parts or any rocket building yet. Granted, the KSA team have to build everything from scratch because they're not relying on any game engine and they have to rebuild everything on their own. And also Spaceflight Simulator 2 can rely on something that they already invented for SFS1. Because how you put together the rocket is already implemented there, it's just in 3D now. Well, there's of course a lot more going into that, but the basic foundation was already there in the first game. Another thing where SFS2 has a bit of an advantage over KSA is that it will release earlier than Kitten Space Agency. From what I have gathered from the Discord server, the game is probably coming out somewhere between August and December 2025. Well, at least the official announcement is it is going to be released in 2025. And let's be honest, we're almost in August and December is the end of the year. So yeah, somewhere in the next couple of months it should be released, and they want to sell it on Steam for maybe 20 or 25 bucks. So it's like half the price that Kerbal Space Program 2 asked when it was not even finished. Of course, we don't really know yet the full spectrum of features that SFS2 is going to have, but I still think it's not too much to ask for. On mobile devices, the initial installation is going to be free and they want to monetize it by offering some packs for you to download after the fact. Something that SFS2 will not have is airplanes. At first they're focusing on rockets, but they want to add planes in at a later point in time. The same thing with planets. First they want to start with fewer planets but at a higher fidelity, as they claim. And they want to add more planets in at a later point. In an FAQ on Team Curiosity's website, they specifically mention Saturn, a planet that I dearly missed in the first Spaceflight Simulator, because, let's be honest, it is my favorite planet in the solar system. Alright, so that's a quick overview of the situation surrounding Spaceflight Simulator 2. What do you think? Is it going to fill that void that the Kerbal Space Program and Kerbal Space Program 2 have left with the abandonment of development? Or do you think that that crown is going to be taken by Kitten Space Agency whenever that is going to be ready? Or are you already a die-hard Juno New Origins player and don't need anything else besides that? Either way, let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoy these types of videos and like what I do on YouTube, then maybe consider subscribing over on Patreon. For just a small amount, you can watch all of my recent videos there ad-free without YouTube jamming ads in them every 2 minutes. And if you choose one of the higher tiers, you get early access to videos when I can manage an actual upload schedule once in a while. And of course, your name will show up here together with all of these wonderful people. Thank you so much for your support. As for myself, I need to grab my phone now and build some 2D rockets and fly them around. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.